go. You ready?
I'm ready. All right, so where are we, Justin?
We are in the Coconino National Forest. We're actually on top of a old cinder cone. So this is an inactive volcano, and we're kind of on the edge of it that's eroded away. You can see how it drops off around us. There's actually a number of cinder cones around here. Just across the highway, there's several of them. You know, national park and all that kind of stuff. I think it's closed right now. But we made it up here, up a very narrow, steep road with a lot of trees. So yeah, we got a good spot. It's far away from the highway. Beautiful view.
And we're on BLM land, right?
Yeah. Well, it's national forest.
National Forest land.
National forest.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of how we boondock and everything we did to get our tiny house ready for boondocking.
And when he says we, it's mostly him.
Mostly me.
I'm just here for moral support.
So the first thing you need when you're boondocking is water, of course.
Actually, you need Sassy.
Well, you don't need a cat, but we have one. We brought our cat. We
She's
put her in
so
a
cute.
little straight jacket thing so she calms down in the car. But yeah, come on in. I'll show you kind of our water setup. Now on this vacation, I kind of busted my foot, so I have a new toy to play with here. So our water setup, we actually have a water tank. The first one is right here underneath of the couch. So it's kind of an unused space I take advantage of to hold about almost 70 gallons of water back here. And then we have some more tanks under the floor here. And we have a little water gauge right here. So you can see right there, the gauge shows full. So the tanks down below are full. The gauge that we have on this one is just a sight gauge. There's actually no water in it right now, so you can't see. But we have this one empty for traveling purposes to balance the trailer. So all in all, we have about 200 gallons of water on board. If all three tanks are full, we're going to add a little bit more water capacity and actually have about 350 gallons of water. So plenty enough to take showers. If you turn around, we actually have our little combo washer dryer machine back here. So this holds a 2.5 cubic foot load, and we can actually use this off grid. So we run 2 generators at once, since this little guy draws a little bit more power, on top of the heater that you see up there, which is making it nice and toasty in here.
72 degrees, nice and warm.
yeah. That thing, we had it down into the low 20s when we were camping on the south rim of the Grand Canyon, and it kept things just nice and toasty warm, absolutely no problem. So we have a single 2200 watt generator running right now. That is powering our heat. It's powering our fridge. So we've got the fridge going right now, you know, full-size fridge.
Now, did you put a black water tank in?
No, I didn't put a black water tank. We have gray water tankage, but not black water. What we do with our black water is we have a camp toilet set up. So the top half of this thing is the bowl, and inside of here is where the flush water goes. So you just flush it like that and dump it in, and then the top part comes off and the bottom part holds all the waste. So the cool thing about that is you don't have to stop at like a RV campground to empty it. In a lot of national forests, there's pit toilets scattered about, so you can just take the bottom part. It's got a little nozzle that flips out, and you just dump it into a regular toilet. So you can get away with emptying your black water a lot of different places. We also have the if we like, let's say we camp on the beach where there's no toilets or anything to dump this, we need to dump it every 2 days. Out front here, we actually have another tank. This guy is currently stored on the tongue of the trailer. It holds 36 gallons, and we can dump our black water into that if need be. We try not to. We try to just use that for like when we're in a spot that doesn't allow gray water dumping, and we use that like in the RV park or whatever, put the gray water in it, if it doesn't have a sewer hookup, and we can tow that around to the dump station, which we did in Zion because they just have electric hookups, no water, no sewer. So we show up, we fill up all the water tanks, we take that little tote tank down and just dump it every day or two. If you do laundry, you got to dump it more often. If you don't do laundry, you can go 2 or 3 days.
Now, how do we get hot water
Hot water.
while we're off grid?
That's an interesting setup. The tiny house came with a on-demand tankless hot water heater down here, and there's a switch for it over here. The problem with it though is you have to have a continuous flow of hot water for it to work. So like when you're off grid, you don't want to waste water in the shower. So we installed a second water heater.
He
and
says we, but it was him. I did not help
you'll
at
pay
all.
for it.
Well, okay.
So this guy runs on propane, so it's lighting up right now, and the light will go off when it gets lit. And this guy is actually in the cabinet down here. You can't see it because we got insulation around here, but you can see it from the outside of the trailer. It's a 6-gallon hot water heater, tank style hot water heater, and it can run on propane when we're off grid, or it can run on electric when we're on grid, so we don't have to use any propane. We can go weeks, months without refilling. In the shower over here, we have kind of a unique setup. So it's got this little valve on top of the shower here. So what we do is you flip it up to shut it off, and you turn it down to turn the water on. What this allows you to do is I can turn the water on here, and I can turn it to whatever temperature setting I like, and I can use the shower for a little bit, lather at my hair, shut it off. Then when I'm ready to rinse, turn it back on, and lather up again. So it cuts down a lot on water usage, just because you're only flowing the water when you need to, and that tank style hot water heater keeps a continuous supply of hot water.
Oh, the light already went off.
Yep. So
That was
that means
pretty fast.
it's lit, it's working. We're good to go there. The reason we kept the tankless hot water heater is because the tank style heater only holds 6 gallons. Like if you use the washing machine over here, it uses I believe about 12 to 15 gallons. So if it's filling up and you want to take a shower right after it fills up, what you do is you turn on both water heaters, and that one actually preheats the water going into the tank, so it never runs out of hot water. Unless you of course run out of propane, then you're out of hot water, period. But that allows us to run the washing machine, take a shower, do all the things we want to do, and basically have an endless supply of hot water as long as we have propane on board.
And water.
And water, of course. Which we have a pretty good supply of water. That hasn't been a problem. And we're going to add more. Especially so when we go down to the beach in the summer, we have plenty of water down there.
How many days could we be off grid and have with water if we didn't do laundry?
If we didn't do laundry, you could be off grid for about 2 weeks solid. Still doing showers, actually.
Daily.
Daily, yeah. So you're not really giving up any convenience. I mean, you do have to be careful with the water when you do take a shower, but it's not like you're just totally doing without a shower and walk around feeling gross, And then if we take a more luxurious shower and do laundry and that sort of thing, you might run out of water after about 5 or 6 days.